who's this angel of the Lord figure, right? And there's different ways that people understand who this figure is. And so maybe walk us through those kind of main candidates, if you will, for this title. In which one do you find most persuasive?
Language of candidates for the angel of the Lord is language that I use in my book, but there are really only two major candidates over the last 2,000 years of Christian interpretation, and then I leave a third candidate as the mystery option, which we'll get to at the end. So if we think about the
Yeah.
last 2,000 years, for the middle 1,000 years of that, so around 500 AD through to 1500 AD in the Reformation, most Christians decided that the angel of the Lord was a created angel. The word angel in the Bible can also just mean messenger. And so lots of different cultures have spokespeople. In America, you might think of the White House press secretary. And the press
Hmm.
secretary is one of those few people who knows the mind of the president well enough that they can speak directly on the president's behalf. So for that middle 1,000 years, that idea of a created angel of the Lord held sway between Augustine and the Reformation. Now, for the first 500 years of church history, and now again for the most recent 500 years, the other leading candidate has been that the angel of the Lord is actually a Christophany. So people will turn almost exclusively and quite regularly to the angel of the Lord as exhibit A and say, look, not only do we think that God the Father might be invisible, should be invisible, must be invisible, but look, we can even point to somebody making appearances who looks like a human being. And hey, wait, we see that same sort of thing happening with Jesus in the New Testament. So we'll just put one and one together and trust that it comes up to two. Now, that
Sure.
sounds great.
Yeah.
I've got no objection to it theologically. It is entirely consistent with what we see in the incarnation in the New Testament. But most of my concern, again, is with biblical interpretation. So it might be theologically plausible, but I'm not convinced that the exegetical passages that people bring into play actually say what we want them to say. And so my biggest concern is not whether Christophanies are right or wrong. I certainly don't think that one is more orthodox and one is more heretical, but I am worried
Sure.
about how lots of readers or preachers or teachers might get excited about any possibility, and in this case, the possibility of a Christophany, and then it might cement some of the suboptimal reading habits. I want people to read the Bible carefully and interpret the Bible
Sure.
responsibly.